today going to talk about relative clauses. We can say relative clause, or in other words, we can say adjective clause. Let's get started. I'm going to define the relative clause in first. Then I'm going to the structure of using relative clause. Then we're going to talk about restrictive relative clauses and non-restrictive. Then we're going to have ask any questions and finally quiz. So, first of all, definition. What the relative clauses means? Relative clause is using to describe subject or object, or to give more information about them, and it's follows them. So, if we say in the subject, for example here, the teacher is John. We can describe the teacher. The teacher who wears a hat is John. So we describe teacher with the who wears a hat, not that teacher, but the teacher who wears a hat. So let's move to structures. Here is a general information or a reference. We can use it to remember the differences between using relative clauses. So if we describe people, in the subject we use who or that, and if we describe things or concepts, we use which or that. For objects, we use who, that, whom. Things, we use which, that. If we describe a place, we can use where. If we describe time, we're going to use when. For explanation, we use what and why. I couldn't pronounce this one. Possessive. If you want to use possessive, for possessive, it's like the man whose bicycles. We use whose for things and people. Okay. Here's the structure. We start with the subject. You can add adjective clause plus verb, and it's comes directly after subject. In the first way, we have different ways. For example, the car which has 2 doors is expensive. So the car is the subject. Here's the adjective clause. It's the verb of the original sentence, and the object. Here's the other way. We can say subject. We can describe object by adding adjective clause in the end of the end of the sentence. So the first one is describe a subject, and the second one is describe object. Here an example. John teaches in the university, which I graduate from. So here we describe the university, which I graduate from. So I use which because it's things, and I graduate from. So we're gonna move. The adjective clause structure is 2 ways to. It's different ways to show the differences or structure of adjective clause. First one, I'm going to talk about subject, verb, and object. For example, the car which has 2 doors is expensive. So, the car is the original sentence, which its subject has verb 2 doors. This is the object. Here is another way. John teaches in the university which I going to visit. So here the university that is going to describe, which here it's the object, I is the subject, and going to is a verb.
Which I or am?
Which I going to.
I going?
Going to. It's in the future.
Which
I'm going.
I'm going to.
I'm going.
With I'm going.
Okay.
Okay.
Here, when we use adjective clause, there's things that we should remove when you use it. If we use go, home, that, and if we describe a person, we should
Take out.
take out he. We shouldn't use he or she or him or her or they and them. But which it's they, and who's his, her, it's there. So, relative clauses. We use relative clauses is when the description, when we use adjective clause is important. The car is very expensive. I saw it last night. So I talk about a specific car, which is I saw it last night. So I describe the car, which I saw last night. It's very expensive. So we don't need to use comma because it's important to know which car I saw, which car is expensive. We can use which or that. Either way is right. All right. Okay, here is another example. John visited his friend. He was sick. So which friend? The friend who was sick. So we describe his friend who was sick. So we change he to who. Here another example, we're using home, that also.
That for people.
Yes, we can use that or who or home for both, yes. Here another example, we're using for subject to describe the subject. The man who graduated from the U won the game, or the man that graduated from the U won the game. Here's some. This one is wrong because of what? We use he. We should. We cannot have two subjects in this in the adjective clause. Here another example for who's. So the incorrect way. I know the man his bicycle was stolen. What's the wrong here?
We don't need his.
His.
Whose bicycle?
So we can say, I know the man whose bicycle was stolen. Non-restrictive relative clauses, which is not important to say to describe the subject or object. Like Mr. Lee, we know the Lee, we know Mr. Lee, teach chemistry. I met him yesterday. So it's extra information. We can use comma, whom I met yesterday. So it's not important. If we delete it, it's okay. So because of that, we use comma. Incorrect way. We cannot use that when the information is not important. That it's incorrect if we use it. So the only way, the other way we can use home or home.
Could you omit home?
Yes, to reduce the. We can say Mr. Lee, I met yesterday, teach chemistry. Also it's right. Here is the reference. And any questions?
I would just just like you to go back and clarify that one about eliminating the object there?
Which
That one right
the
there.
table.
Somebody asked, can you eliminate the home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
This one.
Mr. Lee?
Mr.
Yeah.
Lee, I met yesterday.
Yeah. Could I say like?
No, we cannot eliminate him.
Could I say like?
Why?
Could I say, Mr. Lee? Yeah. Doesn't when I try to speak.
We need.
Study I met yesterday.
I think we need.
Strange.
Yes.
You have to keep that pronoun in there.
Yes.
Because what?
Yeah. For whom and who's we should keep it? Keep them or?
No, because it is now Mr. Lee, the subject.
The man I met yesterday, Mr. Well, you have to leave it in because it's a restrictive.
Yes.
A non-restrictive, you can remove it. You can say Mr.